The number one lie Satan wants people under the age of 50 to believe. There is a pervasive lie that the devil tells people under the age of 50 about their Christian walk with God. Unfortunately, many have believed this deception, resulting in the loss of their eternal blessings. Over the years, I've witnessed the devil cunningly work his way into the hearts of individuals by convincing them that there is still plenty of time to serve God and that they can always choose to serve Him later in life. However, in my opinion, this belief is a lie from the pit of hell. Why? 1, you must understand that the devil is not the giver of life, so he can't determine how long anyone has to live. 2, the very essence of our creation is to serve God and honor Him with our lives. Now is the time to ask yourself, what and who are you living for? Are you living for eternal things? Are you living for God? Or are you living for the here and now, as if this world is all that matters? I have heard people say, I am going to enjoy my 20s and 30s, and then, when I am 60 or 70, I will get serious with God. But are you certain about that? Tomorrow is not guaranteed. This is precisely the lie that the devil wants people to believe. I have time. It's crucial to remember that young people die just as old people do. Healthy people die, and so do sick people. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone. Now is the time to get your life right with the Lord. Wherever you are right now is the time. You could be on a bus right now listening to me, but you can still make things right with the Lord right now, wherever you are. You don't have to wait until you go to church or to your pastor. God will hear you this very second, this very minute. Talk to your Father. How much time do you have left on earth? Today is the day you should get serious with God, because old age is not promised to anyone. I've grown accustomed to hearing people say, I will serve God better when I grow older. I will do this and I will do that. This is the deceit the devil has planted in people's hearts, to draw them away from the things of God. Life is so unpredictable. Your plans will not always come to fruition. There is the story of the rich fool who made plans for his life, for his old age, for his retirement, even for his 401k. But God tore those plans apart. Listen to me. God does not operate on our plan and our schedule. We operate on His timetable and His time. Luke chapter 12, verses 13 to 21. Someone in the crowd said to Him, Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me. Jesus replied, Man, who appointed me a judge or an arbiter between you? Then He said to them, Watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. And He told them this parable. The ground of a certain rich man yielded an abundant harvest. He thought to himself, What shall I do? I have no place to store my crops. Then he said, This is what I'll do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, and there I will store my surplus grain. And I'll say to myself, You have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Take life easy. Eat, drink, and be merry. But God said to him, You fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself? This is how it will be with whoever stores up things for themselves, but is not rich toward God. This is how many people live their lives, as if they have all the time in the world. This story exemplifies a man who believed the devil's lie that he had time. However, without any warning, God said, You fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. No warning, no prior notice. So, I have one question. Are you being a fool? Are you putting God in the back seat to indulge in sin? To enjoy the pleasures of sin? Are you relegating God to pursue wealth? God considers such actions foolish. Working hard and amassing wealth does not guarantee a long life. Similarly, being poor does not shorten your lifespan. That's why it amuses me to see people chasing after fleeting things in the hope that it will preserve their lives. You must understand that your lifespan is not determined by your wealth, as human life is not measured by the abundance of possessions, but by your dedication to your purpose. I, therefore, urge you to dedicate your life to serving God now, because now is the best time to do so. In a world that increasingly prioritizes material gain, instant gratification, and the pursuit of personal pleasures, the essential truth of our existence often gets obscured. We are reminded, through poignant narratives and divine warnings, of the transient nature of life and the fallacy of believing we have unlimited time. The tale of the man who fell prey to the devil's deception, believing he had ample time only to be confronted by God's judgment, serves as a stark reminder of this reality. It underscores a sobering truth. Life is fleeting, and no amount of wealth, pleasure, or worldly success can extend it. This narrative compels us to examine our priorities and the direction of our lives. Are we, like the man in the story, living under the illusion that there will always be more time? The pursuit of temporal joys and the accumulation of wealth often lead to a life lived in spiritual poverty, distant from the path God intends for us. The Lord's rebuke, labeling such a person a fool, is not just a condemnation of their choices, but a loving warning to all of us. It highlights the folly of sidelining eternal matters for fleeting worldly pleasures. God's message is clear. True wisdom lies in recognizing our mortality and responding to it by prioritizing our spiritual well-being and relationship with Him. The accumulation of wealth and the indulgence in sin may offer temporary satisfaction, but they cannot secure our souls nor guarantee another breath. The call to serve God now with urgency and sincerity is not merely an invitation, but a directive for a fulfilled life. Serving God transcends the temporal and places our lives within the context of eternity. As we navigate the complexities of life, let this reminder serve as a catalyst for change. May we shift our focus from the transient to the eternal, dedicating our lives to serving God and fulfilling our divine purpose. Let us not wait for a convenient time that may never come, but choose this day to walk in the light of His truth. For in the unpredictability of life, serving God now is the only guarantee we have. God has given Himself freely to us in all aspects, including His image, and He expects us to do the same. Therefore, it is never too early to serve God, and one can never serve Him too much. We need to ask ourselves periodically, how much time do we have left? Is it 30 years, 40 years, or 100? But God, in His infinite wisdom, has hidden this from us. We know we will die someday, but none of us know whether that day will come sooner or later. For some, it arrives unexpectedly early, just as they begin to find their footing in life. For others, they live longer than expected, perhaps without achieving much. However, this uncertainty shouldn't frighten us. Instead, it should inspire us to live well by dedicating ourselves to the service of God Almighty. Paulo Coelho once said, "Life is too short or too long for me to allow myself the luxury of living it so badly." This statement captures the essence of our existence. Whether life is short or long, it should be lived meaningfully. The truth is, we don't know how much time we have left. If we did, perhaps we would take life more seriously. How much time do you have left? Is a question you should continually ask yourself. It astonishes me to see people living as though they are destined to live forever, or as if this world is the only place humanity was created for, with nothing beyond. What do I mean by this? Simply put, the earth is not your final destination. You have another home to return to, a home where your deeds and impacts here will determine its nature. It's now up to you to make that home a place of comfort, or a realm of eternal pain and condemnation. Mark 8:36 asks, "For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?" Anyone who lacks a relationship with God has, regrettably, surrendered their soul to the devil. Apart from the fact that no one knows how long they are destined to live, it is also certain that you cannot suddenly begin to do what you haven't trained yourself to do. The Bible says in Proverbs 22:6, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." This means for you to do anything qualitatively, you must have trained yourself in that thing. Serving God is one of the things you must teach yourself to do. It doesn't have to be convenient, you just have to do it. Serving God at the latter part of your life is a function of the training you have given yourself. If you haven't learned the discipline of serving God at a young age, it will be difficult and almost impossible to do so later in life because you haven't trained yourself that way. Take, for instance, a man who is used to the strip clubs, nightclubs, and casinos, and all sorts of other engagements all his entire life. A man like this will struggle to change his ways and start to attend church services, prayer meetings, all of a sudden, because his flesh will remember. That old man in you will always want to go back to its sinful ways, its ways of the past. Every sin you have ever committed is, remember, by your flesh, and your flesh will continue to want to go back to that pleasure. So, when I hear people say, "I will serve God when I am older," I always think to myself they are playing with fire. Sin is not something you should play, especially when you know it is wrong. Also, according to what people usually say, things don't get easier in the future. And the truth be told, that is the exact way it is. I want you to think about this. In your personal life and daily activities, the things you push and postpone often don't get done eventually, and even when they do, they're usually not done properly. Delaying your intimacy with God is an act you need to stop from right away, because it has no good ending, and in the end, your service to God is all that matters. Every human on earth must come to this realization and give God their all in time to have a good ending. Serve God now, live for Him now, and worship Him now, because you can never tell what the future holds.